Hey everybody, welcome to Pap Chat. I am Kay Renz and I am delighted today to be speaking with our new board chair, Susan Dinter. Welcome Susan, welcome to Pap Chat.
Thanks, Kay. It's really nice to be here with you.
Well, we are so excited that you are assuming leadership of the Pap Corps. And we just wanted to find out for some members who haven't had the opportunity to meet you yet, to talk a little bit about your Pap Corps journey.
Well, I guess I should start to say that in 2006, my husband Ed and I moved down to Florida. And as most people, when you move into a community, 55 and over, you start trying to look for different ways to get involved and to meet people. So we right away, several clubs approached us and we joined like the Women's Club, the Italian Club, and an organization called the Pap Corps approached me and just told me a little bit about themselves, that they were an organization to raise funds for cancer research. And so I joined.
Well, that's exciting. And you also worked your way up through all the different levels of leadership in the Pap Corps in your chapter, which was really, really, wonderful. So you got a lot of experience.
Well, it was
over events.
Yeah, it was interesting. My neighbor approached me and asked me if I would help her with a certain event. And so I thought, of course I will help her, never thinking that that would get me involved more than what I had thought it would. So I started doing, helping out with other different things. And the next thing I know, I'm the VP of fundraising, and then the executive vice president, and then the president of the chapter. So it happened pretty quickly too. But, you know, I found out very quickly that it's an organization that is very worthwhile, and it just met my personal needs.
Yeah, and I think it's met so many personal needs. But when you're talking about your personal connection, I know you had mentioned that, you lost your dad to cancer, and that was one of the motivating factors for you to want to seek out an organization that worked with cancer research, cancer funding. But you also have, even a more personal story with cancer. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey with that?
It was an interesting thing, I almost call it a freaky accident. I went to a doctor because I'd had foot surgery, and he was removing the stitches. I wasn't feeling particularly well that day, and I ended up passing out in his office. So he called the paramedics. They took me to the emergency room where they took a scan of my heart, and they came out and your heart's fine, but there's a spot on your left lung. So when I got home, I called a friend, Barbara Cassell. I talked to her on a Saturday. Monday, Sylvester called me. On Thursday, I had a doctor's appointment. And after going through several tests, they could not tell that it was cancer. But the doctor recommended that I go ahead and have surgery. So I did.
And everything turned out okay?
Everything turned out great. So I went into surgery, 6.5 hours. During the surgery, a pathologist determined that it was cancer. So my doctor took out a lymph node, took out 50% of my upper left lung, but I did not need chemo. I did not need radiation. And I am back to walking 4 miles every day, less than an hour. So
that's wonderful.
5.5 years cancer-free.
Well, you know what, Susan, I think that you really exemplify our support the next survivor, because for years you were doing that through your membership with Pap Corps, and what you didn't really realize is that you were really supporting yourself.
I have to say that um, I give credit to the Pap Corps, the referral program, and to the doctors at Sylvester. And it just made me more motivated to help the doctors, help the next survivor. I think it increased my passion for something that I already cared about.
That is wonderful, and we're going to be relying on that passion even more than ever, Susan. I mean, let's face it, right now, because of the situation with COVID-19, we know all the turmoil that has caused, not only in our country, but with all the nonprofits. And with Pap Corps specifically, we are really in very challenging times, and we're going to be relying on your leadership. And I know you didn't anticipate this when you signed up. You were voted in to become the new chair, that you would be having such a difficult time to be assuming this role. But can you tell us and talk to the members a little bit about some of the wonderful planning that you have been instituting to help us through this?
First of all, I just want to say, none of us could ever have anticipated this.
So true.
So, it kind of hit us all. And at the beginning, I know we were, like I'm sure a lot of the charities, kind of wondering, where do we start? How do we start, getting back into our fundraising mode and so forth. So we put together a task force that meets on a regular basis. And this task force has been coming up with some terrific new innovative ideas. We're just finishing up this week and next week with some fundraising workshops where we've involved all of the different chapters. And they're sharing their ideas and we're sharing our ideas. And I think it's helping getting people motivated to get back into fundraising. The Pap Corps for 68 years has been giving funds to Sylvester. And even though we are having difficult times now, we have to come up with new ways of fundraising, whether it's direct donations, whether we do virtual fundraising events, anything that will help us continue with our mission of giving funds to research cancer and find the cure.
And that is so important. I mean, Susan, I think when I'm watching you and I'm watching the board, like all working together, you really see that they say that, with disruption, there can also come opportunity. And seeing you all work together, you are looking for all the opportunities for new ways for us to come together to continue our mission. Because, as you've said and the team has said, cancer didn't go on lockdown. And we still have our mission to support the people who are being diagnosed with cancer right now. And they need our help. And we can't turn away from that. We have to step up and find new ways to help. And whether we're, calling friends and saying, join up and become a member, or how can you donate? It's just, you're motivating us. And I'm loving watching the workshops that you're doing right now. Can you tell us a little bit about those workshops?
The workshops have been terrific. I would just like to say that for me, I constantly keep in mind that the doctors every day are treating cancer patients. And so we have to be there for the doctors. We have to be there for the patients. We have to be there to make sure that we have the next survivor.
Susan, that I think really sums it up. It sums up the mission. And I know from myself and from all the members of the Pap Corps, we're rooting for you. We're rooting for the team to really just guide us through all of this. And, you've motivated us all to want to do more and to make sure that we don't let this time period that we're all struggling through really derail us from what we want to accomplish. So thank you so much, and congratulations on the new position. And,
Thank you. Thank you.
despite
I'm
the
going to need all
challenges
the
with
help I can get, and I'm depending on every one of our members.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you so much. And Susan, if people have any questions or ideas or what have you, can they email you at susan@thepapcorps.org?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, everybody. And we look forward to seeing you again on our next Pap Chat.